Welcome to exploring the benefits of green spaces in school settings. I myself have spent a good deal of time daydreaming about outdoor education. Not necessarily had the pleasure of the firsthand experience though, and that's why I'm so excited to have these guests here to tell us what's really happening out there. I think I might be idealizing it a bit, but I'm going to hold on to that little rainbow and hope that it's really true. Because the other thing that happens is when I really do hear what's happening, I get kind of jealous and wish I was a kid in one of your schools. So I think there are good things happening. So let's go to the next slide, please. In the past couple of years, we've noticed a renewed interest in finding ways to spend more time outdoors. You can see here some different approaches and interpretations of outdoor education and outdoor learning that has taken place in response to the pandemic in schools across Canada. We have, some kids doing some yoga and gym class at Carroll Trudeau School. That's a boy with a chalkboard outside New Brunswick. And then up in Ottawa, they took some time, it looks like a Quincy or Fort. So we got kids outside. It's kind of a nice response to the pandemic. Get some fresh air, and it's kind of an ideal, but not always one that's realistic. So that there is a lot of mechanics that go into it, and that's where the people in the room today come in that will tell us what that looks like. Let's go to the next slide, please. So the ideal is that we're promoting healthy lifestyle habits and outdoor activities with good reason. Everyone needs that kind of mental break, but of course, it always feels like a big ask. Everyone's plates are kind of full, and adding to it, that's what it can sound like when you ask someone to get outside, but there are a lot of benefits built into it that can come to both teachers and students. So where do we find ourselves 2 years later? My hope is the answer is outdoors. If we can continue to build on the momentum of developing new spaces and creating opportunities for community schools, that seems to me a silver lining on a dark cloud. This is something that maybe we can take from the pandemic and continue forward. There just seems to be so much happening around it, and I'm excited to see that. Funders have begun to list outdoor education as a priority, as well as education plans in our local schools. Being outdoors is so closely tied to mental health and well-being as we begin to allow students to move freely during school time and discover connections to nature nearby. I was happy to see that the 2021-22 revitalization plan for educational success includes the objective of, quote, increase opportunities to go outside, exercise, and enjoy the outdoors in order to learn differently in other contexts, especially during a public health emergency. So it feels like we have people's ears, and we gotta just keep that going. Next slide, please. So we can look at this and say there's a lot of research around establishing the benefits of bringing a class outside, but evidently that does not happen in one day. Teachers do have a steep adjustment period with their students, but the hope is in the end being outdoors is a health benefit for everyone as a school culture. If everyone can see the benefit for themselves as well as for the students. But of course, again, it's just the idea of having a full plate. Can you go to the next slide, please? So just to look at some research coming from Scotland, who has done a lot to establish outdoor education. Some of the barriers they see are situational, for example, access, and these are best overcome at the school community level, which is us, we're in that position. Other barriers, for example, affect or efficient resourcing, and they're best addressed by partnerships, which are on the regional and local level. Some other barriers they see is on the national level. For example, the value of outdoor learning needs to be promoted, and successful approaches should be developed. A few require a combination of action at all levels: teachers' confidence and competence, reducing any unnecessary administration for excursions, and changing cultures in schools. So I feel like that the CLCs are very well positioned to support this type of thinking and bringing outdoor education into schools. I just love that quote I just read, because it just hits on all the community schools without even asking. We're looking at the barriers. Well, guess what the solution is? Community schools. That's a good thing to know. To the next slide, please, Emma. So indulge me for a moment. I don't know if you remember the double rainbow viral video that went out like a few years ago. Anyways, that was just a moment someone connected to nature, and it's in the early days of YouTube. But as I spend time researching all these studies and retweeting, getting kids outside with all these campaigns and becoming a believer in this new trend, my hope is that this presentation today will inspire you to what is possible and what is really going on, because I want to hear from people out there in their schools what's going on. So we welcome our speakers today. We're going to be starting with Mary Leblanc from NFSB's Chateauguay Valley CLC. She's working with Chateauguay Valley Regional High School on outdoor projects. Then we'll be hearing from our principals, François from Portland Park and Stephen from Montérégie CLC, the John Adam Memorial Elementary School. That's a mouthful. And finally, we will hear from Emmy Labonté from the TUC CLC at the Le TUC School. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Mary. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Danielle. Yes, as Danielle said, I work out of CVR High School in Chateauguay Valley, which is in southwestern Quebec, as well as two other schools, an elementary and an adult ed school. Although I've only been with the CLC for just under 2 years, I have 15 years experience at another high school in our board, which was attached to the school board. So that background has helped me with this project, as we may see later on. So I was originally approached to help with the outdoor classroom project by a teacher. There were two teachers who were working on it with grade 8 students. And they lured me into it by asking if I could help only by providing a, I guess you would call it a workshop on grant writing and how to find grants to the students. So I accepted, knowing that I might have to follow up on some of the students' work and doing the grants later on, which I did. But it was a great process because I worked closely with 6 students over a number of weeks during their class, and just gave them tips, or they just sat in my office and worked quietly and asked me questions as I was working. And we actually applied for one of the grants that one of the students found, because it wasn't in my repertoire or anybody's that I knew, my contacts that I go to for grant writing. So it was a very useful workshop. So the grade 8 students adopted this project, and they put a lot of work into preparing for it in cross-curricular activities. We have certain teachers work very well together at the high school. So they were all asked if they could at least do classes, if not sign in on the project permanently. And so, for example, in science, they did technical drawings that they prepared for an architect to come in later on. One of the students' mothers is a professional architect, and she came in and finished the plans off later on. In French, they had to interact and write in French for a lot of the project. History, they learned about architecture through time. Art, they made the maquettes of the 2 outdoor classrooms. And English, of course, they used that for the writing and the grant writing skills. And math, they had to calculate budgets and measurements to do their models to scale. So it was a very complicated project that they worked on throughout last school year, 21-22. And if you could go to the next slide, please. You can see some of the pictures of them working in the class and doing the third one there is them filming. So in order to promote and try to raise funds for this, they put together videos and pictures and slides. And here on the bottom ones in the snow, those are teachers and students taking measurements of the outdoor area where they wanted to put the classroom. And if you can go on to the next slide. These are more pictures of in-class drawings, preparation work, measurements, calculations. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see the actual maquettes that they started to prepare and put together. These we didn't have domes. That's just one of the unfinished starts to the project. But they all collaborated and worked together in teams in various areas. If you go to the next slide, Those are the more finished maquettes that you can see the detail that was involved. And the students were so involved in this project. That's right, Emmy. It was wonderful to see. In fact, they were a little discouraged when they found out we were too late to get funding last year and had to put it off till this year, but they're in grade 9. And if we can make it happen, they'll still get to see it and know that they were a big part of this. And just a quick shout out to Emmy Labonté. She was the one I turned to after Emma recommended her. I didn't know where to begin for the outdoor classrooms. And so I sent Emmy an email, and Emmy Labonté, and she answered me back with a detailed list of the measure to apply for, so which we've done, and we haven't heard back yet, but this is how CDAs can really help each other. She got me going on this project, so thanks, Emmy. And then finally, once the architect jumped in and the other teachers came on board, it became, as you can see, a very involved project. However, we did have a couple of things going for us. If you go to the next slide, we are already an outdoor rural school. So these are the architect's drawings. These are the professional rendered drawings that the architect did so that that would help try to get us funding. And we have 2 separate ones here. The first one is over by our tennis court area, and you can't see them in the picture, but there are gardens that we have, raised garden beds in this area. And in the lower picture, this is located next to our skating rink. It's just the parking lot that you can sort of see to the right. The gym teachers are very dedicated, and every year they flood that parking lot because it dips, and they make a skating rink, and where they play hockey or it's such a great campus. I mean, as you go to the next slide, I'll show you our campus is rural. There's a lot of students who come from farming families, so they're outdoors people, and if they stay indoors too much, they just get restless. So the teachers do take them out a lot. The classrooms would be more of a complement to what they're already doing. They'll have some place to put their books and their papers, and as they go around and plant and do the various activities. And like I said, that one classroom was next to where the skating rink will be. They can bring their skates out there, put on their skates, and hop on the skating rink. That was done strategically for that. Here you'll see the raised garden beds, and down below that's Tractor Day, where they, which is very cool. I love seeing Tractor Day every year, where they all bring their tractors to school. And you can go on to the next slide. We'll see a few more activities we do. This is a parkour area on the left that the CLC person before me applied for, and I finished up when I came on board 2 years ago. And the community uses this. A CrossFit team comes in on evenings and weekends to use that during the summer, and the students are on it all day long, winter, spring, fall. To the right, we have a few treasure hunters there. And if you go to the next slide, there's a few more of different activities we do. Whether it's ball, hockey, basketball, football, right by the cornfields, as you can see in the back. And if you go to the next slide, we have a sledding hill. Now, this is all the teachers and students that work together during gym class to create these. Some Inukshooks that they built, and you can see this is a picture of them getting ready to go cross-country skiing in the woods. We have trails that were maintained by the gym teachers as well the year long. So we have a really dedicated community and staff that is outdoors oriented. And when I remarked on this, when I came 2 years ago, they were kind of surprised. They're like, oh, really? We are? So I don't know if they realize for that it is such a good thing. I believe it does bring a lot of positive mental health aspects. And even during COVID, there were hundreds of people just walking around the school at lunch and just walking and walking in the winter. So that made it an easier sell for me. I really didn't have to sell this project. I just helped out along the way. So I think that's about it. I don't think the next slide is mine. Yes, it is. There's still some more pictures of the walking that I told you about. They're dressed as Santa and more Inuksuks and other winter activities.
Looks like maple syrup.
Yes, I think they might have been tapping into the maple syrup. So
Yeah.
That was it for my school as far as the slides go. If you have any questions for me, or did we want to wait till the end, Danielle?
I think we'll wait till the end if you want to take note of your questions. Yeah, this is one of the schools I would have liked to attend as a young person. It looks like really ideal. Mary, thank you. I'm still jealous, even though I've already seen all these pictures.
Yes.
Stephen, let's start hearing your story.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Mary, first of all, I've been to CBR, especially at the beginning of the year for the SSIAA track and field meet, the cross country rather, and it is beautiful. I was extremely jealous, and even though we're going through a major process of our own, you have a beautiful school ground. So congratulations to the team there.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. I'm going to try and keep my 10 minutes. I love to talk about, especially what we're doing. I joke with my staff that whenever life gives you lemons, we all know but I like to change it. And when life gives you lemons, you make a beautiful lemon sorbet gin and tonic. So it's just, you go a bit more. So with our school, the lemons that we had at the very beginning were heating, overheating rather, during the May-June months, as well as September, October, because of the loss of heat through the ceilings and the roofing. And we also had a major drainage problem outside in the school area. So I took those two opportunities to move forward with major projects. I was just coming in, and I know there was a huge request to have another play structure set up in the school. So with working with Loisirs et Sports Montérégie, which is like the CLSC, not the CLC, I'm making the distinction, it's the CLSC for Sports and Physical Activity in the Montérégie. They help out schools with the projet d'embellissement, especially for the embellissement de cours Mesures. So we were working with them, taking a look at a few situations, and at the same time, the board was also working on the drainage situation in our school. So we kind of tied it all together to bring about our project. So at first, it started with just the play structure, but why stop there? So if you want to go to the next slide, these were some of our design plans set up from the architect that we were able to get from Loisirs et Sports Montérégie, which pretty much cost us peanuts compared to what it would normally cost us. So that was huge help. And those were also fees that we were able to pay through the embellissement code as well. So all to say, we were able to get rid of the drainage problem at our school with help through the school board. And given that many of our stakeholders were aware of what was going on, the board decided instead of hauling out all what was being excavated, let's build them a mountain. So we were able to create Mount Jammers, which the kids love. And even if I do my job poorly for the next 3 years, I've left my legacy, I guess, with the sliding hill. And then through there, we decided to start raising funds to pay for our 40% of the bill for the embellissement cool, which now is 80-20, which is huge. 80% from the government, 20 from the school. So we started with the designs, and then we also thought that it'd be a great idea to not only start working on a play structure, but also start taking a look at outdoor classrooms, especially for those warm months. So if you want to go to the next slide, you'll see some of what's starting in our school. So raised bed gardens, getting the picnic tables. Now you see the kids that are working with NFL Canada, so Nutrients for Life, planting. And one thing that we've realized incredibly is the support from stakeholders once you find them. We were able to work with Aux Entrepreneurs. So some of you might know of the entrepreneurial Mesures that's out there, the 15111. Because we went through there, we were able to create two little entrepreneurial projects, which was our garden crew and our kitchen crew. So we were able to get many funds through there, and we were also able to get a lot of training and support in how to write grants and how to prepare your sales pitch. And ever since then, we've been going around just handing out our sales pitch to certain organizations. And I think even with, especially with the city, so from the city, I'd say roughly about $75,000 of investments from the city. The Renault Depot in Candiac gave us 2 free sheds, and they're helping us out with tools. Stella Jones, which is a wood company working with CN and with the railway, have given us 25-foot logs to make our shaded area. We can go to the next slide while this is all happening. We worked with Goodfellow, who has donated wood upon wood for free. And if anyone knows anyone who's trying to get rid of a trailer, please send me your information. We'll be buying. But all this coming through. So if you want to go to the next slide, we've been able to incorporate more than just a play structure. We've been building gardens with the kids. You see the bottom right and bottom center, and on the right, we've been building the stand-up or the raised bed gardens. Top right, we were able to build with scrap materials some garden walls, some green walls rather. So all in all, $50 for a green wall. We have 4 of them in the school, mobile. They hook up the little IKEA plastic bins in the classrooms, and they start their seeding in April, end of March, April. So then we transfer that over. We've been building our more and more gardens along the school, around the school, working with the city of Delson to pot their plants in the city. So our name is getting out there as well. If you want to go to the next slide. It has created such a link with the community as well, having the parents come in, and it ties in with the revitalization plan as well. And one of them is summer help. We were able to work with the SOS Autism Run to get them to come in and manage our gardens over the summer. It didn't really work out last summer because there were renovations, but we're looking at that, at creating that link again. Working with Ganawage as well through a lot of assistance with Brian Petter, our amazing CDA, making the link with the Ganawage Food Sovereignty Community Garden there, and working with the council there as well to get them to come in and acknowledge our land when we did our inauguration. The motivation for the community from the kids. And this piece here is it's an outreach. I was traveling to see my family in Northern Ontario, and on the way in New Liskeard, we saw an elementary school that had this set up, and this was the impetus of just going over to see to meet with Stella Jones. I dropped off my package, the sales pitch package. And that's where they said, okay, yeah, here you go. Here are the 25-foot logs. So working with Jean Bet and Angers, the company that presently this week is creating our play structure, they're also going to dig this in. And you see the color run in back of me right now. This was the start of getting the community to start raising the funds. So we decided, well, if we're going to raise funds for the outdoors, we have to have an outdoor event. So we're also having our second one, June 11th, starting at 10 a.m. This is not a sales pitch, but you're free to come. I'll send the info to Debbie, and I'll have that distributed so you can all come on down. If you want to go to the next slide. I don't know, I'll try and see. Also creating play areas for our kids. So a mud kitchen for our little guys. We also have a loose parts play area. So I think that's in the next slide, if I'm not mistaken. And I am mistaken, but these are some of our kids playing outside, painting in the snow. So I'm trying to follow along to see where the outdoor play area is. But we have it's actually in I think in one of the next two slides. So if you want to go to the next one. You see here our kids having fun outdoors. You see the bottom left, at the very left of the image. That's the beginning of Mount Jammers, and that was our skating rink that we helped put out this year. And then the next slide, you see our loose parts play area for the little guys. One of the major facilities of being a school principal is that I can make these things move. One of the major difficulties of this whole process is I have to also principal a school. So it's getting the teacher buy-in, it's getting the community stakeholders to buy in as well. And I'm lucky to be here at John Adam. This team here has been more than supportive, and I want to thank Learn as well for all the Garden Institute, the outdoor education network and PD sessions available, having teachers attend those, and getting the resources, because that was the best part for getting teacher buy-in, because it's not easy. And I won't kid anyone. We think that managing a classroom outside is going to be difficult, and it's different. I won't say it's difficult, it's different. But one of the major things that I'll say obstacles is it does take time. Like planting a seed, it doesn't grow overnight. It takes time, and we're in I'd say a re-paradigm shift, because outdoor education was major before many years ago, and it lost its gusto, and now it's coming back. The pandemic, we have to find the lemon sorbet gin and tonics, and even within the pandemic, and going outside was a major push. So that has helped out tremendously, and to have that piece going now, I see it as a re-paradigm shift, because our next generation of educators, given that we have the teachers starting to go through that push now, you're going to see in 10 years from now, where the students of today who will become our educators of tomorrow will have had that experience. So that the tree is probably a better analogy. It starts as a sapling, and then it grows, and it takes a lot of time. So don't give up. You will find difficulties with financing, with managing materials, with time, but small little pieces adding on, it gathers that momentum, and it will be amazing. I promise you that. And I saw a few people asking for visits. We only charge $100 an hour. It all goes to our outdoor education fund, and South Shore Education Foundation will get you a tax exemption. But no, all kidding aside, feel more than free to come and join us.
Thank you, Stephen. Wow. Yeah, cheer, cheer, hear, hear. I'm glad.
3 minutes over, I'm sorry.
That's all good. François, you're up next. How are you?
Hi everyone. So yeah, I agree with Stephen. It does not happen the next day. For the last 10, 15 years, I've been trying this shift of culture, and let me know. And there's a lot of work to be done still. But yeah, so for the last decade, at least, I've been trying to develop, new outdoor learning areas, such as a green wall, outdoor classroom, flexible classroom. What else? We had, sorry, reading my notes, a interactive forest garden, but also creating outdoor events. So seasonal outdoor events, like in the fall, we have our annual mud race or obstacle course in collaboration with the Nomad Fit. So the kids are looking forward to it. In the winter, we always organize with La Fédération de ski de fond du Québec an introduction to cross-country skiing from K4 to grade 6. And in the spring, we go all the school goes to the mountain with the community, with the parents, and we're planning this actually in 2 weeks. So yeah, creating these outdoor areas does not mean that people will go out. So we need to create a purpose. Like I've seen that Stephen has been going very well on this field. So I'll guide you through a few projects that I've done in the past, and to connect, the curriculum and ideas to get teachers and students out there. So Emma, if you can switch the, yeah, so this is like 10 years ago, we started our first green wall and explained to our students, they studied what's the benefits of a green wall. And then they started to plant inside and study the plants and science. They wrote texts about this project. I've approached, they planted in, as you see on geotextile pockets. That was a brand new at the time. And it was easy because they could plant in class and then hang outside in the wall. But the problem was that there's no one in school areas in the summer. So we needed sustainability. So with the students and in collaboration with an arboriculteur, Jean-Philippe, we did the auto-irrigation of the wall. So by having tubes in each of these pockets, and we programmed a timer so that every day the water would be provided to the herbs. And at the time I was working with my colleague, I think Brian is here, Brian Petter, who connected us with Le Grain de Sel in Belleuil, whose mandate was to approach all the agriculteurs and cook meals, with the leftovers, vegetables, and they needed the herbs. So we said, oh, that's perfect, so we can connect with them. So they visited the class. And so Le Grain de Sel came all summer to collect these herbs to help them to cook their meals for families in need. And as you can see on the left-hand left, we have, thank you for the arrow, Emma, a composter that has a manivelle that you can roll, and students, another class was in charge of composting and cutting all the leftovers from lunches, put them in the composter and turn it. And over a few months, because this one was pretty active, we transferred the earth to the pockets in the green wall. So many classrooms were involved in this project. So if you can go to the next slide, I think we have more pictures of this. As you can see, the water hoses that go into each pocket so that each plant would get enough water to survive. You can go to the next one. And if you can go back, yeah, and Stephen mentioned about recycling materials. So these are fences that are used in construction sites. So they were given to the school, and so they came and installed. We put cement posts, of course, because we wanted this to be solid and not dangerous for the kids. So it's always also a question of reusing old materials, but with no rust, so that there's no danger for the kids. This is an interactive forest garden that we developed at William Ladder in Chambly. So the students wanted to have this forest garden representing the different ecosystems in terms of trees, the different tree ecosystems of Canada. So they developed, the plan of the garden, they chose the plants, they made a text for each of the plants by teams, and we worked in collaboration with artist Marc Sauvageau in multimedia, who helped the students to record their text into podcasts that would explain each of these plants and adding some musical background. So we linked this to a QR code, and we printed a picture, the name in English and French, and the QR code on these plaques, metal plaques, that we planted next to each tree. So every time anyone would go along the forest garden, they could, scan these QR codes and listen to the story of each of these trees. So I had installed an antenna right at the window so that any class could come out and listen, to be interacting with the garden. Trying to go fast. I know we don't have so much time. So, and oh yeah, I want to draw your attention to the bottom picture on the right-hand side. I tried to, over the years, to involve the PPO members and their families to come over at school and to work on the seasonal display so that it shows this is elementary school, that obviously it was a fall time. So there would be a seasonal display each for winter, spring and fall. So this brings the community at school, and it shows, that the school is lively. Something is happening at the school. So this is it for this garden. And yeah, I mean, another idea for this garden was to develop, some kind of a lights with a solar panel that would provide energy in a battery to light it up and make it interactive. But I was named into another school, so did not have time to finish this project. But I mean, the kids are not at school at night, so would have been for the neighbors, right? Here at Cordon Park, we have a beehive on the roof over the last 3 years. So we make our honey. We're international school, and our grade ones have a unit of inquiry about insects. So this is their baby. So that's why now they're interacting with the beekeepers as they are setting up waking up the bees last spring. So, and every year we sell the honey that we collect so that we can sustain this project, and having beekeepers from Alvéole to come over at school to take care of our bees. And it's ideal because our library has windows leading to the roof, so that's perfect. So we also have a weather station on the roof of the gymnasium with an interactive iPad to have live weather. So that's it for this slide. Emma, you can go to the next one. And yeah, so we do a lot of reading buddies. We have interaction between our older kids and younger kids. So we still maintain this, but in the outdoors. So older kids coming to show their knowledge and skills to younger kids. And now we have a kindergarten 4-year-old program, and this is amazing. I'm amazed with these kids. And we are working on a kindergarten in which students will be able to explore gross motor and fine motor. Like Stephen said, we'll have a mini mud kitchen. We'll have a circuit locomoteur, and also a path on which students will drive with their balance bikes. So we experienced this year, and I'm telling you, these kids need helmets. They drive fast on these little bikes. So we'll do some kind of a mini pump track with a wooden path, and with a panneau de signalisation, so that they start to understand, what signs of literacy they see on the road when they drive back home. So we have our Fantastic from grade 6 helping the K4 students. I think we had maybe another slide, or is this the end? Yeah, so this is showing activities that we do outside of the play structure. The top picture is the mud race that we organize each year. And also team building activities that you can see on the left-hand side. So I just want to talk a bit about, Stephen mentioned a few partners for funding. Yeah, of course, every year I apply for Mesures embellissement des cours d'école. This is a significant, and especially like Stephen mentioned, now that they provide 80% and we need to find 20% partner money. So that helps us a lot. TD Bank is very generous. Caisse des Jardins also provides us with grant yearly. Local partners, donators, the town is very generous. So just a matter of putting the synopsis of the project that we have on paper and then send it everywhere and talk about the project and call the medias in order to get their attention. This gets the attention of everyone. And yeah, hopefully, like Stephen said, these kids that will become educators in the future will be addicted to the outdoors. I think that's it.
Thank you, François. Just one more slide. I think it's winter.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. For the bio, I had put myself skiing. Sorry. And yeah, we're so lucky. We have the town also that has an ice rink in our schoolyard, and they maintain it. So we are very spoiled. And our phys ed department, our phys ed teacher, really loves the outdoors. So that's an important key, to have people that really believe in the outdoors, and to convince them. Yeah, sorry.
I'm struck by what you're saying, just in terms of like creating good memories for students. I really think that your school seems to be doing that. So it's good to see that. In the interest of time, we're going to move on to Emmy. Thank you, François. Emmy, please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. So like Danielle said, I'm Emmy Labonté. I work at Latic High School as a CDA and a special ed tech. You guys can see the first picture where we can see like the outdoor classroom, the first end. On that image that we can see, there's a lot of things will actually be changing in our schoolyard. There's going to be like we're going to have a huge basketball field a bit further in the schoolyard, as well as hopefully, I'm hoping, Ninja Warrior parkour, because I have applied again this year on the Mesures 55-30 for embellissement des cours d'école. We can go to the next slide, Emma. So on this slide, I've put certain pictures of the outdoor classroom that has been built now since 2016 by the school principal. We were lucky enough that he took his summer to build that for us. The money came from Mesures 55-30. I don't know why I say it in French, like if I was not able to say my numbers in English, but anyways, that's my French side. I might use some French words sometimes, sorry about that. So anyways, embellissement de la cour d'école. So we can see the kindergarten group on the picture sitting around with their teacher, which is a picture I really like, as we can see also the alphabet on top of the outdoor classroom. So it's a place that is being used a lot by our youngest group. So K4, K5, and grade 1 are using it. We have like the tables, and even in winter, the tables are there and chair as well. Of course, students don't spend as much time outside as when it gets nicer, but still it's something that they really do love. And we can see even like later through the school year where they have their coats on still, but they're still with the teacher learning outdoors. Kids are themselves asking to go outside to learn. And actually, in my other demand that I have done for embellissement de la cour d'école, if we get that measure, you were saying, Marie, that you still didn't have an answer. Well, actually, I didn't get my answer too, so don't worry about it. I guess you should have a response very soon. So if we do get that funding, a part of the money will be used to build a second outdoor classroom, because we have had a lot of demands from other teachers who want to go outside work with their groups. And since this outdoor classroom is used almost all day long by the youngest groups, the space is not there for the other groups. So until then, what they've been doing is when it starts to be nicer outside, they use the picnic tables basically. So now students have already started asking to go work outside. So we go on the picnic tables now that the snow has melted, and we do some work over there. We bring some chalkboards, and we can work using that as well. We can go on the next slide. So that's a program I want to take a bit more time to talk about. It's that I can't see you guys because I wanted to say, like, by raising hands who know about the program Enfant Nature, but I guess I can't really do that. No.
We can do it in the chat. Does anyone know the Enfant Nature program? Just if yes in the chat. We don't need no's, just yes. No one's answering, so I mean, I don't think anyone knows about it.
Okay, so I'm gonna do as if no one knows about it. So basically, the Enfant Nature program, the funder is, okay, so we have Brian, I think, who said he knows about it. So is Sylvie Gervais. She's located in Shawinigan. And we've been working with this program since last year. So basically, I think it's interesting to talk about it because for some school, for some pre-K and kindergarten or even grade one, but mostly pre-K and kindergarten teachers, it could be interested. So if ever CLC or principals want to talk about those teachers about the program, it's a program who costs $700. And I have, because our kindergarten teacher has been using it. I don't know where can you guys see, because I don't see myself. Yes, they can see. Okay. So basically, when you get the training, and if we go on the link, I put the link underneath, like for you guys, if ever some of you are interested to have more information about it, you can use that link, and you're gonna have really the description of what that training includes. So for 700, like the training really feels like completed. So they're gonna show you how you can use like the teaching, how you can do your teaching by being in nature. So before you go outside with the kids, you're gonna have a little story that you have to read to the kids. And then after that, like we can see the kids have they have like their pencil and a worksheet that they're doing. So they have read, let's say, a specific story, and then they go in the woods and they have different ways of learning through that story. So for example, if I take I don't know this, if I take the first one, which is about the skunks, and then after that, once the story has been read, this includes like the planning for the teachers and then different activities she's gonna be able to do with the students. So for example, like once they're going, they could ask the kids to like be hopping in a line, taking walks to explore the neighborhoods. I feel like I want to say too much, so it's kind of, they have a song that's included basically, and then that's what I wanted to say. There's like different things about nature arts, and then after that you're gonna see like the topics, the mathematics, and then after that, like I know that teachers, like what she's saying that she's trying to do is the kids have to use a lot like their imagination, and it's a lot more of like kids go off by themselves. Like, I mean, we're in the woods, they don't go walking everywhere in the woods, but they really have to use their imagination to be doing this program. So they end up building stuff. I wish I could have been able to put more pictures, but like, for example, in a certain season, like they're gonna have to create like bridges, or they're gonna have to, depending on what the animal is that they have read about, they're gonna create stuff related to their habitat. All this through the learning process. I've wrote that for us the total price was $3,000, because we also decided, like on the picture on top, we can see the students are all dressed the same. We decided to invest also in rain suits as well as boots, because some students would come with and they would not be dressed appropriately. In schools, we often have to tell kids, like, for example, don't jump in the water, or don't do this, don't do that, because when they come back in school, they're not like dressed appropriately for they're all wet, and then they're not comfortable for learning inside. So by having rain suits like that, they can jump in the mud if they want to. So it's like, in the subject that we are today, it's good for the students' mental health. They can really go out and just enjoy, and they're free to do what they feel. So, but all of this through learning. So this budget, we were able to get some fundings from partners here in Nature. We can go to the next slide. And what I wanted to add also about this is that for Enfant Nature, before it used to be only in French, and now she started doing it in English. So the one I was showing to you guys here is in English. So that's what's nice about it. Now going to the school garden. The picture we can see on the left side is the garden we used to have before we had those bins. The garden, which they are named the green team, was there even before I started working here. So it's been several years now that they've been working on that. Now we don't have these bins anymore, but we have a big greenhouse that's like 8 by 12 meters that we're gonna be putting outside of the school very soon. It's a project that we're gonna be building it in the month of May. When I say building it, it's actually we ordered it, but it's mostly like putting it up. And so we're gonna be able to start that project very, very soon, and we're really excited. For the greenhouse, I put underneath, in case it interests some of you, I got the money from Full Kids Foundation, so we were able to get $3,000, which was enough to order this and to buy like des ciseaux, des pelles, des râteaux for the students to be able to use in the greenhouse. We can see like pictures of the vegetable, because basically how we work in our school, how this program works is with the vegetable that the kids themselves plant and take care to see growing. They do like Wednesday soup day. So every Wednesday we have soup day, and then the soup is sold for $1 to the kids and to the staff members, and the money is at the end of the school year used to buy new library books. So it's kind of an entrepreneurship program for the students, and they are really invested in it. We started last year the Trashless Tuesdays, where we encourage students to come to school with using only like des plats réutilisables and no stuff that they would have to throw away. Then students have been doing their composting as well. So the students go around the classes, and then they get the bins for elementary and high schools. And this is the green team. So it's a group of students from grade 3 to grade 6 actually, who work after school on this program and during recesses as well. And so they go through the classroom and they pick up the bins of like vegetables and fruits that were thrown away, and then they use it to do their composting, and after that they're going to use la terre for their garden. I know I don't have much time. It's almost 2. Okay, I'm gonna skip the entrepreneurship, but basically
yeah,
I just wanted
to say we're not going to have much time for questions, but let's just let you get through your slides because it's very interesting. I will just go right up to 2. Just to let everyone know, it's a closing session at 2 that we're all going to jump in for 15 minutes as a closer. But please, Emmy, go ahead.
Okay. So for phys ed, we're lucky enough to have a teacher. We can see with the red hat, the teacher and the second picture underneath, who's really invested in like outdoor learning. And so he does most of his physical education classes outside, whatever the weather is. So we've started a cross-country skiing program. We were able to get the money last year from URLSM École Active. We've also had some snowshoeing. So during their phys ed classes, students just leave. And what's nice is we have like the wood right beside our school. So the students can just go down and they go for a snowshoeing. We have some for elementary and high school. So they all have the chance to do these sports. After that, this year we've been doing the Olympic sports. So and the kids are so happy of actually being outside. And that's basically like, because I've just been going on about the things we do outside, but the main objective of me saying this today is just to say that like the kids are so happy, like they ask for this. Like I was talking about enfant nature, and I have like students who yes, even yesterday, grade 2 students telling me like, kindergarten and grade 1, they're always outside. They spend all day outside. They look at them through the window and there's like, we wish we could be outside. When will we be allowed to go outside us too? And say they go outside every lunch hour and they go outside during breaks. And now that it's starting to be nice, they're gonna go outside, but they wish that they could do their learning outside, and they ask to go there. They really love learning in the nature. And I think it probably has something to do with the fact that in Latuc, there's a lot of nature here. So people are kind of used to be outdoors they're used to like spending time outside, and so the kids don't like being the whole day in the school. We can go to the next slide. So basically, I'm gonna go quickly on that one, but it's just every year we have the hunting festival. So high school students, they go spend the whole day. They spend the whole day outside, whatever the weather is. They go at the Parc des Chutes, and they just have challenges amongst themselves. And it's really something popular here in our school. I went to the school, Latika School, and I can remember these activities. I've always loved doing it, and the staff members as well. We can go to the next one. The camping trips have started last year. So basically students and staff members, they leave, they go either in Latuc, and that's a picture that was taken last school year. So they go close from Latuc, and they go on camping trips with the kids, and in their phys ed programs and other school programs, they learn like la survie en nature and other subjects like these. Be active. I'm on the right side. We can see with my blue hat. So we had went for a walk through the town of Latuc, but basically all of our activities in Be Active, we don't have much participating, as we can see, but we do like outdoors activity. And on the next one, we have the next slide, we have Fille qui bouge. So Be Active for high school, Fille qui bouge elementary. I'm there also with the gray coat, and so I look very, very happy to be taking a hike in the woods, because I'm always willing to be doing the activities outdoor. I just want to finish this by saying, like, I myself, being someone who live with anxiety disorder, being outside it's so much relief for me. And like even before the COVID, I was always happy when we got the chance to go working outside. And now with COVID and all, students have been asking even more and more to go outside, and staff members have been willing to do it even more. And I find, like, I remember like students telling me like, I can't breathe with my mask on, and like I'm stressed and everything. And just going outside, they wanted to go outside to be able to take their mask off and just breathe nice air. And for me to like just go outside with them, and we all love being outside and just breathing this nice air. So anyways,
That's beautiful.
I'm just gonna stop because
beautiful.
I'm 1 minute.
That's good. I enjoy this so much. I am so inspired. It's everything I hoped. I had dreamt this was true, and you guys made it real, and I appreciate that. Thank you all for coming